Have you ever stared into the mirror, not just looked, but searched, and realized you don't recognize the person standing there anymore? The fire in your eyes dimmed, your chest feels heavier, not from weakness, but from carrying years of invisible battles no one clapped for. You don't scream, you don't complain, you just carry it, quietly, while the world scrolls by, oblivious. You laugh at jokes that don't feel funny anymore. You say, "I'm fine," even when something inside you is slowly unraveling. And yet, somewhere beneath all that silence, something ancient stirs. Not rage, not revenge, but rebirth. A quiet storm gathering its strength, not to destroy, but to reclaim. See, mental strength isn't forged in comfort. It's sculpted in the chaos when everything inside you is begging to break, and you choose not to. It's in that moment when your pride screams for payback, but you clench your jaw and walk away. When your heart is boiling, but your voice stays calm. When you could react, erupt, collapse, but you don't. That isn't weakness. That's warriorship in its purest form. The kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself, because it knows what it's capable of. That's what Stoicism was built on. Not numbness, but control. Not detachment, but direction. The Stoics weren't hollow men. They were men who felt every cut, every sting, and still chose to respond like kings. Epictetus didn't say, "Don't feel." He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that single sentence can shatter your entire perception. Most people waste their entire lives trying to bend the world to their will, manipulating outcomes, begging for fairness, cursing the past. But the moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start mastering your reaction, that's the day you become untouchable. Because life will throw the same chaos at everyone, but only a few will have the inner gravity to stay rooted when everything else is falling apart. You want to know what true strength looks like? It's not flexed muscles. It's not loud victories. It's the man who gets punched by life and still shows up with his head high. It's the woman who's cried in silence but still loves with clarity. It's the soul that's been cracked open 1,000 times, but never broke. And if you're watching this, I know you've felt that weight. You've tasted that silence. But here's the twist. You didn't come here for comfort. You came for a mirror, a message, a fire. This isn't another sugar-coated pep talk. This is a wake-up call for the warriors disguised as calm people, for those who've been clenching their fists in their pockets for years. This is for you. To stop running from your pain. To stop reacting like a puppet every time someone pulls a string. And instead, respond with poise, with power, with presence. Because you're not here to be liked. You're here to become unshakable. If something inside you just clicked, don't brush it off. That's your spirit rising. That's your discipline screaming to be sharpened. Share this video with someone who's fighting battles the world doesn't see. Subscribe to this channel if you're done living small and ready to live centered. And write this in the comments below, not for me, but as a declaration to yourself. My mind bends, but it never breaks. Let the world test you. Let people doubt you. Let chaos come. You were built for it. Now let's dive in. Number 1. Stop negotiating with your emotions. Your mind hardens the moment you stop giving emotions the microphone. That endless back and forth in your head, that internal courtroom where every excuse gets a trial and every feeling gets a vote. That's the trap. You let one bad mood tear down a week of discipline. You let fear whisper, and suddenly your ambition bends. You feel sad, so you crumble. You feel tired, so you delay. You say, "I'll start when I feel better." But those feelings, they're not your compass. They're just weather, passing, changing, never reliable. And if you let weather decide your path, you'll wander forever. There's a moment, quiet but brutal, when you realize emotions are not your enemy, but they're not your general either. You don't need to feel like doing something to do it. You don't need perfect peace to move forward. You can feel fire in your chest and still walk calmly. You can feel the weight of the world and still take the next step. The Stoics never denied emotion. They buried weakness underneath it. They didn't say, "Don't cry." They said, "Don't kneel to the tears." That's a different breed of strength. That's unshakable. Marcus Aurelius didn't whisper sweet advice. He issued a battle command. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But knowing this changes nothing if you keep surrendering to every impulse that storms through your head. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," your mind learns softness. But every time you do it while it burns, while it aches, while your soul screams no, and your body still moves forward, your mind becomes a machine, a weapon, an anchor. That's how you build discipline that doesn't bend. That's how you become a man who doesn't break, no matter how hard life hits. Number 2. Build yourself in silence. Let results speak. The quietest minds carry the heaviest storms, and they carry them alone. Not because they don't feel the fire, but because they've mastered the art of silent forging. They build empires in the shadows, heal wounds no one sees, and grow roots so deep they don't need validation from a passing glance. When the world shouts for proof, the strongest don't shout back. They move like ghosts, unseen but unstoppable. Mental strength isn't a spotlight begging for attention. It's the shadow that swallows the light. Maybe you've stood in the silence, feeling invisible, like your struggles, your battles, your quiet victories meant nothing because no one noticed. But what if that silence was the arena itself, a brutal test of will designed to strip away every craving for applause, every desperate reach for recognition? The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste ink on empty words. He said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Don't announce your transformation like a headline. Become the headline. Let your silence scream louder than any boast. In a world drowning in noise, look at me, I'm evolving. Watch me cut off the dead weight. See how focused I am. True power is born in quiet execution. Stop performing for eyes that don't care. Stop explaining to ears that won't listen. Real strength doesn't beg for the spotlight. It waits. It watches. And when the moment is right, it commands respect with no words needed. You don't have to post your healing or narrate your progress. You just show up. You grind. You transform in the dark. And when they finally see you, stronger, sharper, unbreakable, they won't hear a word about it. They'll only see the results. Smile, because you did it in silence. Number 3. Protect your mind like sacred ground. Your mind is not a hallway for chaos to pass through. It's not a dumpster for gossip, envy, or distraction. It's sacred ground, holy terrain meant only for truth, clarity, and purpose. But too many people leave the gates wide open, letting anyone with noise, drama, or insecurity stomp in with muddy boots. And slowly, silently, your inner world becomes a battlefield of voices that don't even belong to you. Every scroll, every shallow conversation, every toxic memory you replay, those things don't just float by. They latch on. They rearrange your focus like burglars tearing apart a room. You begin questioning your pace because someone else looks faster. You doubt your reflection because someone else looks shinier. You start hearing echoes that weren't born in your soul, and suddenly your vision gets foggy, your confidence feels counterfeit, and peace becomes something you have to chase, instead of something you carry. That's why the Stoics didn't entertain noise. They didn't just endure the world, they filtered it. Cleanthes once declared, "Lead me, Zeus, and you, destiny, wherever you have assigned me. I shall follow without hesitation." That wasn't just faith, it was focus, unshakable alignment. He understood, the mind is a temple, not a marketplace. When you let in every whisper, you lose your own voice. When you chase every illusion, you forget your own nature. So purge it. Declutter your mental altar. Cut the strings. Silence the static. If someone drains your peace, they've already taken too much. This is sacred ground, not a circus for clowns. Stop explaining yourself. Stop overthinking for people who've never thought of you. Mental strength isn't just built in pain, it's protected in silence. Guard your mind like it's a fortress, like it's your last breath, like your entire future depends on who you let in, because it does. Number 4, turn pain into discipline, not destruction. Pain doesn't ask for permission. It crashes through your life like a storm with no warning, ripping away comfort, tearing down what you thought was solid, leaving you standing in ruins. Betrayal, heartbreak, failure, loss, it all hits without mercy. And while most people run, hide behind distractions, drown themselves in noise, numb it with temporary highs, the ones who become unshakable do the opposite. They stay, they feel, they face the fire head-on, and they build inside it. You've been there, that gut-wrenching moment when someone you trusted disappeared, that failure that made your chest cave in, that rejection that made your breath catch, your vision blur, your hope flicker out. And in those moments, it's easy to collapse. But there's something sacred about pain. It's a forge. And the ones who rise from it, they don't just survive it. They extract power from it. They build systems from suffering. They don't let pain destroy them. They let it refine them. Epictetus didn't glorify struggle. He weaponized it. Difficulties are things that show a person what they are, not what you pretend to be, not what you post online, what you are. Pain strips away the surface and shows you the steel or the softness underneath. But if you're brave enough to stay in that fire and not flinch, not fold, not beg, you come out untouchable, clear-eyed, disciplined. Discipline born from pain doesn't need hype. It doesn't check the weather or wait for the right mood. It just moves, silent, sharp, relentless. You stop showing up to feel good and start showing up to stay solid. That's what makes you dangerous, not your smile, not your strength, but the fact that you took the very thing meant to break you and turned it into your structure. Let the world bruise you, but never let it break your schedule. Number 5, master the art of emotional stillness. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to flinch every time life swings. Not every insult deserves your words. Not every moment of pain deserves your collapse. And not every emotion deserves your obedience. The world trains us to react, fast, loud, messy. But real power, real mental strength, it's the man who chooses silence over chaos, stillness over rage, precision over noise. When you no longer feel the need to explain yourself, defend yourself, or prove anything, you've stepped into a level of control most people will never touch. You will be mocked. You will be tested. People will poke, prod, twist your name just to see if you'll crack. But when you hold the line, when you don't flinch, when you don't fold, when your breath stays steady and your eyes stay locked forward, you become something rare. That's not weakness, that's war-grade restraint. That's lethal calm. That's the kind of discipline that wins in the long run. Marcus Aurelius saw this clearly. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Translation: they can throw the chaos, but you choose whether to carry it. Emotional stillness isn't detachment, it's defense. It guards your energy like armor. It gives you space to choose, not react. You want to be strong? Then stop dancing every time the world plays a loud song. Be the ocean, not the splash. Deep, silent, unshaken. Let them wonder why you're calm. Let them choke on your silence, because while they're wasting energy trying to provoke you, you're conserving yours for something bigger, something that outlasts noise. That's the power of stillness. That's how warriors think. Mental strength isn't some gentle lesson you learn in peace. It's built in the wreckage, forged in the fire when your chest is burning, your hands are shaking, and every voice in your head is screaming, "Just give up." But you don't. You clench your jaw, you wipe the blood off your knuckles, and you keep moving. That's what turns you dangerous. When life slaps you with betrayal, silence, failure, and instead of begging for mercy, you build structure inside the pain. This isn't motivation. This is war. You want comfort? Go back to average. You want peace? Earn it in battle. Because Stoicism doesn't hand you strength. It drags you through hell and asks, will you lead or will you kneel? The unshakable don't rise by luck. They rise by scars. They rise by choosing silence over panic, discipline over dopamine, purpose over pity. You're not broken. You're in the storm that builds legends. You're being carved into something ruthless, something sharp, something the world can't move. So like this video, share it with the wolves in your circle, hit subscribe, and keep showing up like your life depends on it. Because it does. And drop this in the comments so they know you don't flinch. I am mentally unshakable. I lead my life with strength.